Good morning. We are here at the north rim of the Grand Canyon. We were at a camp spot a little bit farther down the canyon because there were some people in this camp spot the first night that we got here. Yesterday morning, they left and we were able to snag this spot right out on a plateau. If you're new here, I'm Savannah, this is Drew, and we live full-time in our Unimog 1300L ex-German military ambulance exploring the southwest United States with our two dogs, Pablo and Mateo. In the last episode, you saw us find our very first camp spot on the north rim of the Grand Canyon. After many years of wanting to explore this remote, wild section of the Grand Canyon, we had finally made it, and the views did not disappoint. We spotted some people at our second planned camp spot, but the next morning they left and we could move down to an even more open spot with panorama views on 3 sides. So after a few days of rest at this remarkable camp spot, it was time to move along and see what else we could find. We just packed up camp. We're getting ready to head back out on the trail. We have a pretty long drive day today, but before we do that, I want to show you the view here. You could say that all the viewpoints look similar. The Grand Canyon's just a big hole in the ground, but every single one is unique and every viewpoint is so different. If you look at all the features, you can see the Colorado in different spots, and this is one of the best ones that we've been at. Let me show you. It's been amazing to be at these spots, but it has been a little bit difficult for the dogs because right over here, more than any spot that we've been at this entire time, there's sheer cliff faces. We've been at a few spots that it was just kind of a gradual, rocky step down towards the canyon, and this one is a complete drop, and that is a no-go for little dogs. Are you ready for this view? I would say I have a healthy fear of heights, and I don't need to be right up on this cliff edge. This is just a drop right here. So we're good back there. You can come over here and appreciate the view. Driving across the open plain away from the rim of the canyon gave us our final views of the desert. We were about to ascend over Tater Ridge, which would take us from 5,500 feet to around 8,000 feet, all in the span of 10 miles. After many miles of flat, sandy two-track, this would be our first taste of any elevation change. Although still not a challenge for the Mog, we could see this was going to be a long climb. So we put her into low gear and started our crawl up the ridge. But we could quickly see that the real views were behind us.
excited to check that out. This is steeper than it looks. Pretty gnarly road. Moose is making it seem like nothing, but getting out and looking at it, pretty steep and rocky. Onward and upward though.
As we weaved our way along the spine of the ridge, we could see far into the Colorado Plateau and all the places that had captivated us in the previous days. We could now look out over the flat, open desert scrub and say one last goodbye before heading into an entirely new section of the North Rim. We eventually found a great spot to stop and take a break after the climb. It was planned for this to be one of our longest off-road driving days ever. And if we wanted to reach camp by dark, we had to keep moving. But a little siesta by the side of the road sounded too good to pass up. That's when we noticed a few ominous storm clouds in the distance that made pressing on feel a little more urgent.
We're about halfway through our Grand Canyon North Rim route. We are up on Tater Ridge, good old Potato Ridge, as I like to call it. And then we're heading further north and should be getting into the forest here pretty soon. Starting to rain just a little bit here. Hopefully it doesn't start pouring and get muddy. I think we're okay. It's kind of just light, but we got to keep moving. Nothing crazy, but definitely a slower road regardless of your vehicle. Not the hardest road ever, but definitely rough. Forcing a much slower pace. Couple obstacles, rocky, up and down. Just gotta go slow. It's getting rougher though. It's definitely a decent road. It's fun. I think I'm gonna switch back down to working gears for a second because it's getting like kind of annoying. There we go. Now I'm working one. You see how slow this is. Barely moving. The nice thing is, even if you're at like 5 or 6 in the working gears, which is similar top speed to like 1, you just have so much more low-ended control. So as long as you're not going to be going faster than 10 miles an hour, it's kind of worth staying in them. So just kind of read the road. When it gets real flat, I like to switch out so I can pick up some speed. But man, what an advantage to have this gear set.
This was the final part of Tater Ridge, and we were excited to cross the threshold and see what these higher elevations had in store for us. This was our first glimpse of the pine forest that we'd be in for the remainder of our time on the North Rim. And we must say, Moose's color scheme makes him fit in very well here. Well, the front half of him anyway. Sure, we expected a pine forest, but what we didn't expect were these beautiful aspen groves completely surrounding the trail. This must be a beautiful spot in the fall when all the leaves are changing. But this time of year, they were completely bare, and it seemed like the storm that had been chasing us all the way up the ridge had finally caught up to us.
Right, and the rain has turned to a slushy snow. And I guess that's what happens when you climb like 3,000 feet in one day. We're at almost 8,000 feet right now, so it makes sense. A little colder up here.
Definitely did not expect to see snow today. It's really, really wet, so I don't think it's gonna stick, but wow, we've had full sun, we've had rain, and now we've had snow. So this route continues to deliver. Very diverse.
I think we've officially arrived at the North Rim. We've got pine trees, we've got snow. This is what I've been imagining. It's really coming out. This is pretty awesome. It looks beautiful. This is the first day that the paved highway was open today. Now you see why so late in the year. Because it snows up here most of the year. Look at this. This is awesome.
This is crazy. It's like hail. Ah! I mean, there wasn't even rain in the forecast, let alone snow. This is proper snow. This is accumulating on the windshield.
Yeah, I gotta turn the fogger on, I can't see.
There we go. It feels like Christmas up here. The North Rim is living up to the expectation of being a completely wild place.
Yeah, definitely a way different experience than the South Rim.
Yeah, very much so.
Tree number 6, going into forestry.
Oh my god.
That's fine. You guys gonna get stuck? Moose just trudged right through that. It slipped, but then it just grabbed. So it just dug itself out.
I saw it sliding to the side and I got worried.
It's only like 1.5 feet.
Look at these tracks. Look at how deep this is. Look at, this is the deepest part right here.
That's funny. Ain't no thing. Look at,
Wow.
I had so much clearance that it didn't even scrape still.
No, it didn't.
In the center, you can see.
Wow.
It's undisturbed. Okay, I've already cut down 5 trees, gone through a snowbank, and it's been about a half a mile. So, I don't know, that's the beginning of the season kind of stuff up here. Nobody's been down this road to clear it yet. I hope it doesn't continue though. I'm ready to be done driving. We should have just come down this way. It's an actual road. I think that was like a trail we were on. This goes back to like a real road too. Oh well. It was a shortcut, sort of, because it took a long time to clear everything. This is like a highway after that.
We were finally back on the main trail after a little shortcut took us longer than if we had just driven around. We learned a valuable lesson. Sometimes the shortcut, especially this early in the season, will not save you any time. At this point, we were losing daylight quickly, and in the forest, the darkness takes hold even faster. We had a pin marked on the map where we hoped to camp. So we pushed just a little farther forward in hopes of a camp spot with a view that would make it all worth it.
Well, folks, sometimes you work real hard to get to an amazing spot, clear trees, run through snow, and you get there, you can't see anything. And that's what happened tonight. So, probably just pull off to the side here, sleep for the night, and find something cooler tomorrow. But it's kind of the adventure, you never know. Check out the view. Might be able to walk out to a really nice view, but I don't know, I guess we'll find out. I mean, it's still beautiful here, so. It's getting dark, so I think we're gonna just park right back over here somewhere and call it a night. Try again tomorrow.
We covered over 50 miles of dirt roads today. After being met with no camping signs at our first marked spot, we just didn't have the mental stamina to keep searching. As an inky black night fell on the forest, we ached for a place to stop and rest. There was only one other camp spot we noticed about a half a mile up the road, so we cut our losses and headed there. At this point, all we could do was sleep. This morning we woke up and decided to switch camp spots. It got late last night, it got dark, and we decided to just pull into the first forest spot that we could find. The forest spots are beautiful, but we're looking for a little bit of a view of the Grand Canyon out here. So we drove just one plateau over, and it's kind of funny because the one that we were on was really quite busy. Most of the spots were taken, and on this one, there's been no one. So it's kind of funny how that works, but we found a spot. We just pulled in, set up camp a little bit, and a very short little walk from our spot, you can see this view of the canyon. If you walk down a little ways, the view just gets better, but this is what we can see from camp, and it's just magnificent. The previous camp spots that we were at, the canyon was really quite small because we were towards the end of it, but here it's at one of the widest points, and I can see the south rim, but it's really far away now, and that makes for a ton of really beautiful elevation changes. The view is completely different here than it was farther down. We're planning on staying at this camp spot for a while, so we're just getting settled in, getting ready to enjoy ourselves for a few days. I am going to make chocolate chip cookies because a chocolate chip cookie is classic. It's the best cookie. I will fight about it. It's definitely the best cookie. And if you haven't noticed, pretty much our whole world centers around food and what we're going to eat next. And for a day off, we pretty much always bake something or make some elaborate meal. So today, chocolate chip cookies, we're gonna put this diesel oven to good use. And apparently Pablo is here to help me. See this guy? Hi, buddy. He's just been sitting here patiently waiting. I already got all the ingredients out, so I don't even have to dig through the cabinets, and it shouldn't be too hard. 350 Fahrenheit. 350 Fahrenheit is about 175. I'm learning. I'm getting better. To be honest, I pictured making these cookies in a cold environment because it was really cold yesterday. I had my winter jacket on, and now it's like 80 degrees and it's so warm in the sun, but I had my heart set on cookies, so we're still doing it. 1 1/4 cup brown sugar, that's a lot. So much sugar. That's how you know they're gonna be good. Okay, I guess it's not getting my clip. Will you mix this for me?
I'd love to. It'd be like my dream come true. Boy.
It looks like you're doing a great job.
Yeah, who needs a mixer when you got me here?
You're the mixer. You want to taste test the dough?
This is my breakfast cereal.
Yeah, give it a try.
There's a cookie dough. Really good. Thank you. What are you gonna have?
I do think that the dough is just as good as the baked cookies.
Might be better.
Cookie dough is the best. All right, first batch going in. They look really good.
Excuse me, I'm trying to do my jump ropes. My favorite thing to do.
It's like waking up on harness, you know? Really get to that one.
All right, here we go. I could just let my whole life slip away inside of a hammock.
It's pretty good.
Goodbye, world. Bye, cruel world. Woo! Yippee! Actually, I'm getting a little sick. What you got there? Oh, dinner? Oh, I guess I didn't put it high enough for 2 people.
We sometimes struggle to slow down. Even in such a beautiful place, it can be hard to rein in the pace ingrained by the world. But once you achieve stillness, once you get a small taste of that inner peace, it is completely addicting, and nothing else can compare. It's why we've chosen this lifestyle. Just like almost every other person who's moved full-time onto the road, we spent our first year rushing from place to place. We were chasing sights and trying to see everything as fast as possible. We didn't know how long we'd be able to do this, so we wanted to see as much as we could. Each place we visited was a little check off a list. At that time, we were both full-time musicians, so we were touring from city to city. One night here, one night there, and then on to the next. High highs and low lows. It was exhausting, and we could feel burnout creeping in. We'd sometimes come to wild places to camp, but would only stay a day or two. It was hard to sit alone with ourselves, undistracted out in nature. Now, we've been lucky enough to find a way to stay on the road for 8 years, and so much has changed. The peaks and valleys of our previous life have evened out. Playing our guitars, baking, sitting in a hammock staring out at the canyon has become endlessly fulfilling, restorative even. We stayed in this spot for a week and tried not to take any moment of it for granted, because this was our final stop on our shakedown trip. Our maiden voyage with the Unimog was coming to an end. The truth is, our build was far from finished, but this time with our truck was invaluable to discover what we actually need and don't need. So it was time to head back to New York and finish up the build using all we'd learned out here. The time had come to say goodbye to Canyon Country.